A tense confrontation erupts at Il Giardino. Steffi Forrester confronts Sheila Carter over a hidden truth. Sheila has been secretly aware that Luna Nozawa is alive. This revelation sends shockwaves through the Forrester family. Steffi makes her displeasure abundantly clear. She states that Sheila's mere presence is a danger to everyone. Sheila remains unnervingly calm. She assures Steffi that Luna is no longer a threat to anyone. She confidently declares that Luna will remain behind bars. She suggests a life sentence is likely for the young woman. This leaves Steffi to question Sheila's motives. The encounter ends with deep-seated distrust hanging in the air. Deacon's therapy sessions spark concern and interest. Elsewhere, Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan discuss Deacon's sharp situation. Ridge learns that Deacon is seeking therapy from Taylor Hayes. Ridge believes this is a wise decision for anyone involved with Sheila. He openly praises Taylor's professional expertise. Brooke, however, remains skeptical and deeply concerned. She feels Deacon should have cut all ties with Sheila permanently. Meanwhile, Deacon himself cannot stop thinking about his therapist. He returns to the clinic to discuss his complicated reunion with Sheila. Taylor continues to offer her professional support. She had previously encouraged him to follow his heart. It is now evident that Deacon is developing personal feelings for Taylor. This new dynamic could provoke a catastrophic reaction from Sheila if discovered. The oppressive silence of the Forrester Creations CEO office was broken only by the soft rustle of silk and the distant, muffled hum of Los Angeles traffic 20 stories below. Steffi Forrester, perched on the edge of her pristine white desk, was the picture of curated power. Her black sheath dress was armor, her sleek ponytail a banner of control. Yet, a faint, lingering tremor in her hand as she reached for her coffee cup betrayed the recent horrors. The memory of Sheila Carter's face, those wild, unblinking eyes, the gun, the explosive crack of a bullet that was meant for her but had torn through her mother instead, was a ghost that refused to be banished by sunlight and success. The phone on her desk buzzed, a jarring intrusion into her attempted calm. "Steffi, there's a Devaney Dixon here to see you." Her assistant's voice came through, laced with uncertainty. "She says it's urgent, regarding an ongoing legal matter." "She doesn't have an appointment." Steffi's brow furrowed. The name meant nothing. A lawyer, perhaps? Hope's legal team? Or someone connected to the endless fallout from the Spectra Fashions acquisition? She sighed, the weight of her responsibilities pressing down.
"Fine.
Send her in." The woman who entered was not what Steffi expected. She was not dressed in a power suit, but in faded jeans and a simple knit top. She was around Steffi's age, perhaps a year or two younger, with mousy brown hair pulled into a haphazard bun and eyes that held a weary, almost haunted quality. She clutched a worn leather bag to her chest like a shield. "Miss Forrester? Thank you for seeing me," the woman, Devaney, said, her voice soft but steady. "I'm very busy, Miss Dixon. What can I do for you?" Steffi's tone was polite but cool, a clear signal that this audience would be brief. Devaney didn't sit. She stood in the center of the vast, opulent room, looking profoundly out of place. "It's about Sheila Carter." The name landed in the room like a physical blow. Steffi's spine straightened, her carefully maintained composure cracking. "If you're a reporter, you can leave right now. I have nothing to say about that woman." "I'm not a reporter." Devaney's gaze was unwavering. I was her cellmate at the California Institute for Women." The air left Steffi's lungs. Cellmate. The word was so alien, so intrinsically linked to the dark, violent world Sheila inhabited, that it felt like a violation to have it spoken here, in her sanctuary of light and luxury. She stared at the woman, truly seeing her now, the nervous energy, the shadows under her eyes, the faint tremor that mirrored her own. This was someone who had shared a cage with the monster. "Why are you here?" Steffi's voice was a whisper. Devaney took a tentative step forward. "I was released 3 weeks ago. I've been trying to find the courage to come see you." "Sheila," she talked. "All the time. Mostly it was rambling, vindictive stuff about you, about your family, about how she'd get out and make everything right." She paused, swallowing hard. But there was one night, about a month before my release. She'd gotten some bad news about an appeal. She was different. Less rage, more a strange, quiet desperation. She started talking about her son. Finn, Steffi supplied, her heart clenching at the name of her husband, the man Sheila had claimed as her own with a terrifying, possessive love. No, Devaney said, her eyes locking with Steffi's. Not John Finnegan. A beat of profound, disorienting silence filled the room. Steffi could only blink. What are you talking about? Finn is her only son. She lost her mind over him. She shot my mother because of him. That's what everyone believes. That's the story she let everyone believe, because it suited her narrative. The devoted mother, reunited with her long-lost surgeon son. Devaney's lips twisted into a grimace. But it's a lie. A calculated one. Steffi felt the floor beneath her seem to tilt. That's impossible. We've seen the records. We know the history. Do you? Devaney challenged softly. She unzipped her bag and pulled out a small, creased manila envelope, handling it as if it were toxic. That night, she said she had a son before Finn. She was very young, just a teenager. She gave him up for adoption immediately after he was born. She told me she never wanted him, never thought of him. He was a mistake, a burden she was glad to be rid of. Steffi's mind was reeling, a car spinning on black ice. This had to be a trick, a manipulation. Another one of Sheila's twisted games, played from behind bars. Why are you telling me this? What does this have to do with me? Devaney's expression was one of profound pity. Because she didn't just tell me, she showed me this. She slid a single, faded photograph from the envelope and placed it on the glass table between them. Steffi's eyes dropped to the image. It was an old, grainy picture, the colors bleached by time. It showed a young woman with a familiar, though softer, version of Sheila's face, holding a swaddled newborn. But it was the small, tarnished silver frame that held the photo that made Steffi's blood run cold. It was a frame she had seen 1,000 times. It sat on a bedside table in the home she visited weekly. That's, she stammered, her hand flying to her mouth. She told me she kept one picture, Devaney continued, her voice hollow. Just one. In a silver frame she stole from the hospital. She said she needed proof, for herself, that he was real, that he existed. She said she never loved him, but he was her blood, her firstborn. Steffi couldn't breathe. She stared at the frame, a unique, ornate piece she would recognize anywhere. It was a family heirloom. Who? Steffi demanded, her voice cracking with a terror she hadn't felt since the night of the shooting. Who is he? Devaney took a deep, shuddering breath, as if steeling herself to speak the unspeakable. She said she tracked him down years later. Just out of curiosity, she claimed. She watched him from a distance. She knew he'd been adopted by a wealthy, powerful family. She knew he'd grown up with every advantage she could never have given him. She said it amused her, in a way, that her discarded offspring was living a life of such privilege, so close to her all along. The pieces, horrifying and impossible, began to click into place in Steffi's mind. A wealthy, powerful family. Privilege. Close to her all along. Her heart hammered against her ribs like a trapped bird. No. It can't be. It's not possible. She told me his name that night, Devaney whispered, the words falling into the silent room with the force of a detonation. She said, "My first son, the one nobody knows about, the one I threw away, is Thomas Forrester." The world stopped. Sound, light, time, everything ceased to exist. Steffi felt her legs give way, and she stumbled back, collapsing into her chair. The air was thick, suffocating. Thomas. Her brother. The man she had fought with, protected, been exasperated by, and loved her entire life. The man who had been manipulated by so many, who had struggled with his own demons, but who was, at his core, a Forrester. Her blood. And now he was hers too. Sheila's. A torrent of memories flooded her, each one now viewed through a new, grotesque lens. Sheila's strange, almost proprietary interest in Thomas over the years. Her manipulations of him, using him to get to Hope. Steffi had always assumed it was just another one of Sheila's convoluted schemes. But what if it was more? What if it was a mother's, what? Interest? Testing? A warped form of connection? No, Steffi gasped, the word a ragged plea. It's a lie. It has to be a lie. She's sick. She's trying to destroy my family, to get to me, even from prison. I thought so too, at first, Devaney said, her sympathy genuine and unbearable. But why tell me? I was nobody to her. She had no reason to lie to me about that. And the picture, the frame. She described the Forrester mansion to me, details only someone who'd been inside would know. She knew about Douglas. She called him her grandson. The word grandson was a fresh knife to Steffi's heart. Douglas. Her sweet, innocent nephew. Sheila's grandson. The biological line was a contaminant, a vile poison seeping into the very foundation of her family tree. Steffi's mind raced, a frantic, horrified scramble. The implications were catastrophic, a shockwave that would obliterate everything. Her father, Ridge. How could she ever tell him that the son he had raised, the boy he had taught to sketch and to ride a bike, was the biological child of the woman he loathed above all others? That Sheila's blood ran in Thomas's veins? It would break him. It would shatter the entire family. And Thomas himself, what would this knowledge do to him? A man who had fought so hard for stability, for redemption, for a place in his son's life. To learn that he was the abandoned firstborn of a psychotic murderer? It could destroy him. It could unravel every bit of progress he had made. This was Sheila's ultimate revenge. Not a bullet, not a public scandal. This was a time bomb, planted decades ago, and only now, when she was safely behind bars, had it been activated. She had ensured that, even in her absence, she would remain a permanent, genetic part of the Forrester dynasty. She had infiltrated them at the most fundamental level. Steffi looked at Devaney, the messenger of this apocalyptic news. Does anyone else know? No. Just me. And now you. The weight of this secret was a physical pressure on Steffi's chest, heavier than any burden she had ever carried. What was she supposed to do? Tell her family and risk an unimaginable cataclysm? Or bury the truth and live with the horrifying knowledge that Sheila's legacy was living and breathing under their roof, at their dinner table, in the face of her nephew? She felt a wave of nausea so powerful she had to grip the edge of her desk. The pristine, ordered world of Forrester creations, built on a legacy of love and design, now felt like a gilded cage built on a lie. The monster wasn't just at the gate. She was in the bloodline. Devaney took a step back, her task complete. I'm sorry, Steffi. I thought you had a right to know what she is. Who she really is. And who you really are to her. With those final, devastating words, she turned and slipped quietly out of the office, leaving Steffi alone in the cavernous silence. The photograph of a young Sheila and her newborn son still lay on the glass table, a silent, grinning skull at the feast. Steffi stared at it, her perfect life, her hard-won peace, lying in ruins around her. Sheila Carter had finally won. She hadn't needed a gun. She had only needed a secret, and a son that no one knew was hers. The jailhouse bombshell had detonated, and the fallout would forever stain the house of Forrester. Electra's heartbreak deepens as Will prepares for fatherhood, and Luna's pregnancy changes everything on B&B. The Bold and the Beautiful's must-watch moments for Friday, November 7th, see Electra experiencing heartbreak when she thinks of Luna's pregnancy. Will is going to be a father, and the baby is obviously not Electra's. Since their meet-cute where they literally ran into each other, Electra, Linnea Grace, and Will's, Crew Morrow, relationship has been growing. They took things slowly, and Will helped Electra through the horror of Remy, Christian Weissman, showing up after he'd stalked her. Finally, Electra was ready to take things to the next level the night of Will's promotion party. Unfortunately, Will got too drunk, so Electra went home alone. Deacon, Sean Cannon, took Will to his place to sleep it off. Everyone thought Luna, Lisa Yamada, was dead, but Naomi Matsuda, had secretly saved her life. Luna stole Electra's mask from the party, and she snuck into Deacon's. She raped Will while he thought she was Electra. Eventually, Will realized he'd had sex with somebody else, and he investigated to figure out what happened. He found Luna alive, much to his surprise. It all came out, but then Luna was pregnant. A paternity test showed the baby was Will's. Through it all, Electra and Will have struggled, but they've stayed together. Electra has a heartbreaking moment thinking of Luna's pregnancy. The weekly The Bold and The Beautiful must-watch moments for November 3rd to 7th tease that Beth has a big idea for Hope and Liam's wedding. Meanwhile, Sheila assures Steffi that Luna is in prison for life, as Electra is heartbroken thinking of Luna's pregnancy. Tune in to CBS or Paramount Plus next week to catch all the dramatic moments in Los Angeles. Hope, Annika Noel, Ivy, Ashley Brewer, Will, Don Diamant, Katie, Heather Tom, Daphne, Muriel Hilaire, and Electra, Linnea Grace, are completely shocked by Deke's, Harrison Cohn, introduction of Remy, Christian Weissman. Brooke, Catherine Kelly Lang, confronts Deacon, Sean Cannon, about his big decision. Ridge, Torsten K., and Steffi, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, make a decision about the Hope for the Future line. Remy becomes determined to win Deke's trust back. Thursday, November 6, 2025, number 9648. Sheila, Kimberlyn Brown, assures Steffi that her granddaughter, Luna, Lisa Yamada, is in jail for life. Taylor, Rebecca Budig, is affected by Deacon's words. Electra has a heartbreaking moment thinking of Luna's pregnancy. The Bold and the Beautiful must-watch moments for Tuesday, November 4th. See Deke introducing Remy as his boyfriend, leaving Hope, Ivy, Will, Katie, Daphne, and Electra stunned. Plus, Brooke confronts Deacon over his big decision. Before Luna, Lisa Yamada, died, she shared a growing bond with Remy, Christian Weissman, who even